my darlings. Oh, how very much I love you. I was just about to settle down and eat these gorgeous strawberries. Look how beautiful they are. That are fresh, and they were a gift, and I was going to settle down and have some. And then my friend Charlene sent me a challenge. And it challenges us to, it's called Beautiful the Way I Am Challenge. And so it was a challenge to post yourself and be happy with the way that you look and blessed by it. So here I am, no makeup. My hair's wet, no flat iron, nothing. So I'm fresh out of the shower. But instead of just posting a picture, or some pictures, photos, I decided I would share my heart with you as well. Because that's part of what I think makes us beautiful. Not just the way we look and what people perceive as our outer appearance, but also what's in our heart. And so there's something on my heart today that I really want to share with you. And I hope it will help you. I hope it will encourage you, and I hope it will be a blessing to you. I hope so. Some of you have talked to me and shared your hearts with me and confided in me that you feel a little frustrated right now. You feel stuck. You feel like maybe things are just not working out in your favor. And my goodness, I hear you. I understand, because I think we've all been there. If we're honest, we have. We've all had those moments where we're thinking, what's happening here? And so I have 2 words to comfort you with, my darlings. And I hope that they'll help you immensely. Ready? Like to hear it? Here it go. Small beginnings. Small beginnings. Small beginnings are 2 words that will comfort you immensely if you're going through a time when things just aren't taking off like you'd like. The Bible says, do not despise the day of small beginnings. Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that single step. And if you can't run, you should walk. And if you can't walk, then you should crawl. But you should keep moving. My great-granddaddy used to say, keep moving. I mean, you'd be telling him something that the bottom had fallen out of the world, right? And he'd say, keep moving. Just keep moving. My other granddaddy used to say, give God something to work with. Give God something to work with. Just keep moving. Do something. Give God something to work with. Small beginnings. Small beginnings is a phrase that came to me in my heart when I won the Native American Music Award. A reporter was interviewing me, and it was a very popular magazine, and I was very honored to be included. And he said I was an overnight success. An overnight success. If that's the truth, that was the longest night in the entire history of the world. See, what he didn't know is that he was getting the after picture. You know how they have the before pictures and the after pictures? Like before, they look kind of like I look now. They don't have their makeup on and all that. They're not all fixed up, right? But after, oh, they've done so much, and they've had all lashes and waist trainers, and just everybody looks fantastic, right? Well, life is kind of like that. Sometimes in life, there are before and after pictures. And what that reporter didn't know when he called me an overnight success is that he didn't know the before picture. He didn't know that there were small beginnings. And I think sometimes we do other people a disservice. When we become successful, when we're sort of at the top of our game, nobody ever talks about the before picture. They don't tell you about the hours and hours and hours it took to get the skills and the talents and the gifts that they now enjoy, right? Now, here's what I'm thinking about that. You didn't see me studying. You didn't see all the weekends, the Friday nights I spent in Widener Library, and the Saturday nights I spent in study groups and at the Science Center. Everyone else was having a wonderful time, and I was studying at Harvard. And so now, yes, I have a lovely Harvard diploma, and boy, am I thankful for it, but it wasn't magical. But now you just see the after picture where I get to enjoy the fruits of my labor. That's what that overnight success made me think of. Small beginnings. See, small beginnings, if you're not careful, you will not realize that small beginnings are very precious opportunities from Creator for you. Every person has something to do that glorifies Creator. Every person has the same assignment, even though we all express it differently. And that is love Creator and love others. Now, when we do that, how we do that is a dialogue between us and Creator, but we're all called to do it. And Creator has given each one of us gifts and talents and skills and abilities, and we're able to use them to fulfill our mission. Okay, that's where the small beginnings come in. You see, small beginnings give you a chance to get good at what you've been called to do. Small beginnings give you a chance to take those singing lessons, or practice that talent that you have, or get really good at it. Because the time to get good at it is not when you have an arena filled with people who've paid a lot of money for a ticket to be there. The time to get good at it is in those small beginning days. See, I remember when we would go to a revival. I remember one revival, Big Cove Pentecostal Holiness Church. The offering was $11. Yeah. I remember when we would go to churches all over this country and stay at the preacher's house. I remember when we would, my uncles would catch some fish, and we would fry them up and eat them in the back of the truck. And my Uncle O would roast marshmallows on a stick because we would be singing at a small traditional powwow. I know everybody loves the contest ones, and they're great, and there's money, and it's flashy, and it's exciting. But I remember when powwows were just traditional fellowship times. And those times now we stay at Caesars and Harrah's and the Hyatt and the Hilton. But those days of small beginnings gave me a chance to get good at what I do. You too. Small beginnings, even if you're a little frustrated right now, give you a chance to develop the character on the inside that you need to go where you're going in life. We all know those shooting stars, don't we? Those folks that can sing like a house on fire. We know those pretty girls that they model and they look lovely on their Instagram, and then they just disappear. We don't even, and you know what happens? You kind of think to yourself, hey, wonder what happened to so-and-so. Wonder what, and you'll find out they're drinking, or they're in jail, or they got pregnant, or they just washed out of their career. Shooting stars. A lot of those in the entertainment industry, but don't be fooled. They're in a lot of other industries too. People that flunk out of college, or don't finish their degree, or don't make it in what they were trying to do. Why? Because sometimes your talent will take you where your character can't keep you. Ooh, that's good. That'll preach. That's good. Sometimes you'll have talent, but if you don't have the sure foundation to go with it, you will crash and burn. Now, what am I trying to say about that? What do I mean by that? A foundation on a house. Nobody has you over to see the foundation of their house. Nobody calls you and says, you know what we're doing? We're putting a foundation down for a house. Y'all come. We're going to have snacks and everything. No, they don't. They call you to see the housewarming, where you walk around and look at things like the curtains and the bathrooms and how lovely the master bedroom looks. But really, if there's no sure foundation up under that house, it doesn't matter how pretty it is. It doesn't matter how much curb appeal it has, because it will sink, it will shake, it will flood, it will fail. Life is the same way. And small beginnings gives you an opportunity to develop the character that you'll need where you're going. See, there's some decisions in life I made early in my career, and my career was very well steered and guided by the great family that I have. But I had to make up in my mind about some things. And the time to do that is not when somebody's waving a lot of money in front of you or suggesting that this is the chance to launch the career you've always wanted. That is not the chance to do that. The time to do that, to make some decisions about who you're going to be and how you're going to conduct your life, that is the small beginning stage. Small beginnings do something else for you. They give you a chance to get it right. They give you a chance to tweak what you do and decide what it is you want to do. A lot of people know me from my singing, and that, I do a lot of singing, and I have 2 Global Music Awards and a Native American Music Award, and I have an Academia Music Award. I'm thankful for all the music awards that I have received. But my passion is speaking. Yeah. And now at this point in my career, I speak a lot more than I sing. I may sing 1 or 2 or whatever, but really now at this point, corporations and military, people invite me all over the world to come and inspire you with what I have to say. And of course, I do that on television and the radio too, most of you know. But I remember when that started happening. I remember when I realized that, yes, I had this singing gift, and I was so glad people love to listen to my lovely voice, and it's a great gift from Creator. But I remember the day when I realized, oh, wow. Wow. It's speaking that I really love. I have a message that I want to share to inspire other people, uplift and encourage them. And sometimes I sing, and sometimes I speak, and sometimes I make films, and sometimes I write books, but it's all to do the same thing. Yep. Love God, love others. You got it, right? Small beginnings, though, give you the chance to refine that call on your life and decide what it really is. See, we see a lot of people who are pushed into their profession or their occupation because it's what mom and them want them to do, or their teachers all said they ought to do this, or they've done it for a while and they think this is all there is to do. But small beginnings, moving slowly, gives you a chance to decide what it is you really want. Where is your passion? Follow your bliss. You can do that. Small beginnings gives you a chance to do something else, and as quiet as it's kept, we better keep it real. Keep it 100 about this. Small beginnings gives you a chance to change your mind. I can't tell you how many folks contact me and they say stuff like, so how can I get a Global Music Award? If you can ask me that question, you're not ready to have one. You're just not. Sorry. Doesn't mean you're not wonderful. Doesn't mean you won't get one, but you're not ready because you're looking at the glory of it. You're looking at the award. You're looking at what it could do for your career, what it could do for music sales, but you're not looking at the flip side. See, I grew up in this business. A lot of you know that. I started modeling as a baby, commercials and things like that as a child, full-time modeling as a teenager, and pageants in college and grad school. That's how I paid for my master's degree. I won a lot of beauty pageants. And small beginnings gave me a chance to decide what I wanted and what I didn't. I'm thinking about something that a lot of people don't realize, but if you want to be famous, be sure you want to be famous. I'm not saying don't be famous. I'm just saying if you really think you want to be famous, be sure you know what famous means before you decide to be famous. Small beginnings gives you a chance to decide that. I'm thinking about one day I came in and my Uncle O had done my security most of my career. He was 6'8". He was a Marine, combat, fought in every mission, every war we had from Vietnam to Afghanistan. He was a bad man. He was something else. But one day we sat down and had a family meeting, and O said, I can't keep you safe anymore, honey girl. I can't do it. He said, because I've got a blind spot where you're concerned. I love you. And so I don't want to go through your phone. And I don't want to follow you to the ladies' room. And there's a piece of me that cannot imagine the possibilities of what somebody might do or what could happen to you. And he had hired some veterans as contractors to provide security from that on. And that's how I got my first female bodyguard, right? Because I needed somebody who could go to the dressing room and somebody who could go to the ladies' room with me. But, have you thought about that? Have you thought about the fact that now somebody's got to go to the ladies' room with you? And that maybe you don't have the privacy that you used to have? That there will be people that you can trust and there will be people you absolutely cannot? That's important. People always say, is it fun to be famous? Yeah, it is. And it's not. I was thinking about when my brother passed away suddenly and tragically, and the whole world knew, right? I mean, I actually saw clickbait sites that said that they were giving me condolences and things like that. Other people got to go to their room and cry, and yet I still had to face the public. And that is something you have to know that you want to do. Small beginnings helps you decide that. See, small beginnings gives you a chance to opt out, to change your mind, to say, I want this or I don't want this. I thought about it to this point, but I didn't think about it at this level. I didn't think about it at that level. Small beginnings gives you a chance to change. One of the greatest things Creator can do for you is correct you. In this life, we can learn through two ways. We can make mistakes, or we can make decisions with mentors. And when we have small beginnings, it gives us a chance to involve wise counsel in our decisions that we're making going forward. There's a top 10 show. It's a really popular show, and they have a lot of music on that show, and it's on iTunes, and it's really popular. And my agent called me to see if I would like to have a part on there. But the problem was that the part was going to require me to wear really skimpy clothing, and I was going to have to be involved in some things that I am not involved in my life. I've never had a drink in my life. And my family sat down and they said, we know why you would want to do this. We know why a young person would want to be on a show popular with young people. But my grandpa Bryce said this. He said, but we have to look ahead to the rest of your life, not just right now. And he said, it's our concern that if you're dressed like that and behaving like that, even if this is a top 10 show, it will be very difficult for you to go back to being the Southern lady that we've raised you to be. It will be very difficult for the kind of gentleman that we want in your life to look at you in a respectful and correct way. And so we're saying, no, you can't do that show. I'm glad. I'm thankful. I'm glad I didn't do that show. But, in fact, I was sitting around with a great distinguished gentleman, a Navy captain, and he turned on the TV and that show came on and he said, oh, that rubbish, and turned it off. And I thought, whew, good thing I don't have to tell you that I was on that show. But I know what they were saying, my precious family. They were looking ahead to the rest of my life. Small beginnings. I learned to depend on them and their counsel and the counsel of the people they taught me to trust. And that way, I already had made decisions about what I would not and would do in this business. Small beginnings gives you a chance to take correction and to change. All right, small beginnings does something else, and everybody, I don't know that anybody ever thinks about it this way, but I do. Small beginnings gives God time to work. It gives God time to work. Sometimes we love miracles. We love microwave blessings. We love when magic happens. We love when something happens. We really do love overnight successes as a culture in the United States. But Creator doesn't always work on our timetable. And that's why small beginnings are important. Small beginnings. Sometimes there's things that have to be worked out that have nothing to do with you. Sometimes another person's heart is involved, or another business, or there's a connection that needs to be made, or there's something else that needs to happen. And small beginnings gives Creator time to put all that together for you. He doesn't always need time because, he can do anything he wants to, but If there's other people involved or seasons involved or something else that needs to be changed or done or whatever, right? Small beginnings lead to some big blessings. And folks love miracles. I love miracles too. But you know one thing about miracles? You have to be in a lot of trouble to get one. When you get a miracle, it's because basically Creator is stepping in. The Spirit is stepping in to put things back on track and get them, because they're just so out of control a lot of times, or just so bizarre, or something is happening that's terrible. And so Creator steps in and puts things back on track with a miracle. But wouldn't it be so much better to just walk in blessings? How was your day? Fine. Good. Great, thanks. Right? I mean, we can become addicted to miracles because those are good stories and everybody likes a good miracle. And oh my goodness, this almost happened, but I prayed and it turned around. And this was terrible, but I prayed and that's great. But get out of jail free is a great card to have, but isn't it better to just not go to jail? I think miracles are kind of like that too. I love every miracle I've had to have. But wouldn't it be wonderful to just walk in blessings every day? Small beginnings sets you up for that. Small beginnings, starting small, working through these things as they come. It puts you in a position where every step can be founded on wisdom, on prudence, on good knowledge and sound judgment and solid ways of living and being right. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. You know why? Because nobody cheers the small beginnings. Nobody says, way to go, Dawn Karima, singing for an audience of 10 people in West Virginia, or a small town commercial for a furniture store in Kentucky, or hey, way to go, that movie role in that telenovela where all you did is cry the whole time. Oh goodness, we don't even talk about that one. But all those small beginnings were teaching me something. They were teaching me something that prepared me for the big blessings that the Creator has for me and that I enjoy now. Small beginnings does another thing, and I want to make sure I highlight that for us. Small beginnings gives us a chance to say thank you. It's a chance for us to be grateful. Small beginnings sometimes also reveals to us a part of Creator's plan that we may not have known. I competed in a lot of pageants, and I paid my way through master's degree by winning pageants. And we got it down to like an art form. Like we went here and won, and went here and won, and went here and won, and went here, And that's how we paid. The scholarships helped a lot. But when I got in the Miss America system, a lot of people really thought, oh, this is going to be it. You're going to win. You're going to be Miss America someday, right? Well, I wasn't. I won a lot, but I never won Miss America. And I competed in the Miss America system, and I did really well, and I got a lot of great scholarships, but I didn't become Miss America. But those small beginnings, Creator was up to something. He was up to something. You know what he was up to? He was planning so far ahead. I was trying to figure out how to be Miss America for 1 year, but what Creator did in my life was he put me in that pageant system, and I did really well in it. And then, when a certain news network was looking to increase their diversity, they called that pageant system and said, do you know any ladies of color who are poised and lovely and articulate and beautiful who would be interested in the news business or one of our networks? And that's exactly how I got in broadcasting. Now, I had the degrees to go with it, the small beginnings, right? I had been studying and preparing, and I had done the commercials and the modeling and the pageants and all the things that go with it. But the opportunity came from a small beginning, right? Beauty pageants. Not a Harvard connection, not somebody I met while I was getting my PhD, not something like that, which you'd be expecting. But a small beginning, walking around in high heels and an evening gown, and winning the interview portion every time. Small beginnings. Those interviews with those pageant judges, those interviews in front of live audiences led me to be able to do broadcasting, even my radio show, full time. Sometimes small beginnings are setting you up for very big blessings. So right now, if you're stuck, if you're feeling a little bit like, oh, I'm trying to do things and I'm trying to get launched and it's just not doing what I want it to do, here's my message to you, my darlings. Don't despise those small beginnings. Don't despise those opportunities to do great and wonderful things. Take every chance you can to learn, to grow, to develop, to improve, to thank, to rejoice, to enjoy, to bless, to help, to love. And you know what? Those small beginnings, those steps that you take in a good way, will lead you down a wonderful road. And yes, you'll end up where you're supposed to be. And we'll all rejoice with you when you do. See how very much I love you all? I do. So, I want you to rejoice right now, wherever you are, whatever's happening. Look for the good in it. Look for the ways you can bless other people in it. Look for the ways that Creator is blessing you and guiding you during this time in your life. And when you get where you're going, you'll realize these are some good times. I love you. My love for you is infinite. And just in case you haven't heard anybody to say it to you today, I love you. And oh, Creator does too.